Actor and comedian Robin Williams may not have been a part of the Doctor Who Whoniverse, but we here at Mark Who 42's Whoniverse are still saddened to hear his passing. This episode is dedicated to his memory. Thank you, Robin, for making us laugh, making us cry, and giving us so many wonderful memories.
This is Gareth David Lloyd, Yanti from Torchwood, and you are listening to Mark Who 42's Whoniverse.
Mark Who 42 Whoniverse.
Welcome to Mark Who 42's Whoniverse, Doctor Who Whoniverse, that is. I'm your host, Mark-Baumgarten, and with me, as always, are...
Patricia-Helm.
Eduardo-m-Freyre.
Christian-basel.
And today we've got a special guest with us. He's been on with us before. He is an original geek of comedy. It's Patrick Hawkins. Hi, Patrick.
Hello, my friends. How y'all doing today?
We're doing fine.
It's good to be back. It feels comfortable here, you know?
Just light up a cigar.
Well, you know, and since it's a radio show, you know, it's like if you redecorated the place, I don't have to do the obligatory TARDIS line that every new doctor says, "Oh, you're redecorated." I don't like it.
Now, Clara says that line. Did you see the trailer? Clara says that line.
She does say that, doesn't she?
What is that?
That's okay.
That's wrong.
Her days are numbered.
Her days are numbered if you believe the mirror.
But I'm sure we'll get to that later.
And yeah, we could be telling you all the news now, but instead of telling you the news now, let's tell you the news now with...
We'll tell you the news now with our Doctor Who correspondent, Patricia-Helm. Patricia-Helm, tell us the news.
Now.
Josh.
No, let's do it later on in the show.
Let's
Let's change it up a bit.
Okay, so we're less than a week away until the new season starts. Who's excited?
Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah.
So I guess
I am cautiously intrigued.
So I guess now with the wilderness pregnancy, you know, it's baby's about to come out. Got the bags packed for the hospital. You know,
The hand's
got
ready
the
to
plan.
spank the baby on the butt when it comes out. It's all set.
That's all said.
It's all set.
You know, Moffat lies, so he may have the pregnancy go on for another couple of weeks there.
Oh no!
Stop.
That's
No,
cruel.
knock on wood. Knock
That's
on wood.
cruel.
Knock on wood. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Gonna have
Don't
the
do that. Don't do that. Knock on
He's going to have the BBC cross its legs and hold it in, right?
Ooh, I thought I'd be saucy.
Yeah, we thought you were saucy too, Patrick, and maybe not.
Speaking of the BBC, they have released their official synopsis for Deep Breath.
All right.
That's kind
It's
of
not
vague, but-
spoilers, is it?
No,
So no
not
spoiler
spoilers.
alert. Okay.
Not yet. Okay, their official synopsis is, when the Doctor arrives in Victorian London, he finds a dinosaur rampant in the Thames and a spat of deadly spontaneous combustions. Who is the new Doctor, and will Clara's friendship survive as they embark on a terrifying mission into the heart of an alien conspiracy? The Doctor has changed. It's time you knew him.
And the truth is out there.
And yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the X-Files is a conspiracy.
I know, it's like you should play the theme song to this.
Oh, there he is, yeah. We should.
I like his version better.
Now, Deep Breath will premiere next Saturday, the 23rd, at 8:15 p.m. on BBC America. Or if you're in the UK, it'll be on at 7:50 p.m. on BBC One.
Why 8:15?
Because it's a 75-minute episode.
Okay,
It's not.
all
It's
right,
not. It's not.
And
just
then the commercials and stuff. So
Yeah.
they've timed it. It fits better into an hour and 45-minute time slot than a 2-hour time slot.
Okay, because I wouldn't have put it past them for like 8 o'clock to 8:15 to do one last loving look at Matt Smith.
Well, no, but
Just
Chris Hardwick is doing a pre-show that'll be starting, I think, at 7:30. Trish.
yes.
Yeah,
7:30.
and so that'll go on for 45 minutes, and they'll be talking, getting us ready for it. If you're in the South Florida area and you want to see Deep Breath with a whole bunch of other Doctor Who fans, come to Ye Olde Falcon Pub in Davie. That's Saturday, 23rd of August, 2014, at 7 p.m. Yes, we're meeting at 7 p.m. to get good seats in front of the giant screen TV. We'll have fish and chips. We'll have other pub favorites, and we'll be serving you'll be buying Sonic screwdriver drinks. They are really good. Oh, I love Sonic screwdrivers, and you'll love them too. So if you're in South Florida, come on. There's information. Go to tardis.marku42.net for more information on where and when this great viewing party will be. And yes, I've interrupted the news with a personal plug. So what do?
Take a shot.
Take a shot. We take a shot. Yes.
I already did. The minute you started talking, I grabbed my water bottle and I took a
Or Mark, if you happen to be in Central Florida,
Oh, that's right.
Myself, yeah, might as well. You
Go
put the
for it.
plug in. Might as well
Plugs.
take
I
a
love
big old drink now. I myself will be with the Traveling TARDIS at Hurricane Who at the Poorhouse that night. If you want to come out and see with me, if you're in the Central Florida area, come on out, get a picture with the Traveling TARDIS, and catch it with a bunch of Whovians at the Poorhouse located in Metro West.
2 drinks in as many minutes. My God, we're going to be drunk by the end of the show.
Christian, let me see if I understand this correctly. If they're in Central Florida, rather than be excited about Deep Breath, they should be excited about joining you at a place called the Poorhouse to take a picture of the Traveling TARDIS. You're actually trying to compete against Peter Capaldi's premiere? That's very brave of you. That's very brave of you, Christian.
You're there.
You don't want to watch Doctor Who here. You want a picture of the Traveling TARDIS. Whoa! You're trying to stack up against the man hasn't even had a full episode as Doctor Who, and you're trying to challenge him. Whoa! You're Christian.
Boys, this is nothing compared to the rampant world of stand-up comedy where everybody is plugging everything at any given moment. Trust me. This is a walk in the park. Trust me.
Okay. Trish?
Yeah, we're done now.
Now, you sure?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The BBC has also released an official synopsis for the second episode, Into the Dalek.
Into the Dalek.
A Dalek fleet surrounds a lone rebel ship, and only the Doctor can help them now. With the Doctor facing his greatest enemy, he needs Clara by his side. Confronted with a decision that could change the Daleks forever, he is forced to examine his conscience. Will he find the answer to the question, am I a good man?
Is he a good man?
We don't know yet.
Don't know. Doctor could be the evilest man in the history of the universe. They could change the whole format of the show. He could be He could be the nemesis of the universe from now on. Yeah, right.
Well, it looks like they're. I mean, the premiere episode has dinosaurs. The second issue has, the second episode has Daleks. It looks like they're really trying to stack the deck just in case, the ugly old man Doctor isn't going to take with younger fans.
Yeah, they're basically doing the last season of Matt Smith over again. Dinosaurs on a spaceship, except it's on Earth, and then the Sound of the Daleks. You have Into the Daleks. They're basically doing a repeat of.
Well, you could argue this is the same pattern they did with Troughton when they introduced him. I mean,
they started with
Daleks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't blame him.
Go dinosaurs in London.
That's the name of the episode. They're changing the name of the episode. I've seen the work print of episode 2. No, I haven't.
But wait, Into the Dalek. The whole thing is about a rebel ship being chased by the Daleks. Does that mean the Daleks are looking for the plans to the Death Star?
Possibly.
Well, I assume
You are part of the Rebel Alliance.
They could also be looking for Blake and Avon, but I don't know.
Oh, too soon.
Yeah, it was too soon, wasn't it? It was too soon.
And there goes half of our audience right there. He just got up and left.
Making fun of Blake 7, man.
I love Blake 7. That's a great show.
Honestly, I've only seen snippets of it, and I kind of liked what I saw. Seen a random episode here or there. PBS never picked up any of the markets I was in at the time. I did, of course, see like the last 5 minutes of the last episode on YouTube.
So you saw everyone bite the dust, except Avon, because they went to black. He may have ducked at the last second when the guards were shooting at him, and they shot each other, and Avon just snuck away.
Are they stormtroopers?
Yeah, they were. No,
like what? 50 of them around, and they just missed.
They went to black, and then you hear the gun blast. So supposedly Avon got shot, but it's very possible he didn't. Avon has his way.
Every reboot proposal I had ever read said that he survived, and Yeah, he's in a prison, and then the new Blake Seven busts him out, and he becomes the mentor to a whole group of guys. And hopefully, if they ever brought him back, it wouldn't be like, oh, okay, we freed him.
Oh, wait a minute. There's another rumor. There's another thing because see, Blake, when he got shot, you saw the blood. When all the other characters got shot, you didn't see the blood. They could have been stun guns. Everyone could have lived except for Blake.
That's true.
And we've changed Doctor Who to Blake 7. I'm sorry, Terry Nation. We're not doing this. We're going back to Doctor Who. Trish?
Ketchup packets in his pocket for all we know.
Trish, take us away. Terry Nation had this for a minute, but we're back.
They've already announced the date that Deep Breath is going to come out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Oh.
Which will be September 8th in the UK and September 9th here in the United States.
Oh.
So just a couple weeks away, actually.
Wait,
and
just that one episode.
Just the one episode, just to stand alone.
It's a vanilla.
Brother.
It's going to include an extra called Doctor Who Live, the next Doctor.
So it's not a vanilla. Okay.
And then it's going to have a behind-the-scenes feature, and then the Deep Breath prequel that people will be able to see if they go watch the show in the theater. So.
And I bet when they sell the season in November, they won't have those extras, so you have to buy it.
I'm sure. I think they're finally figuring out how this all works to get the most money.
BBC is a government agency, and they're not really into merchandising, so they're just starting to learn. So that's what's going on.
Well, let's face it. Doctor Who being profitable is that's Prometheus giving the cavemen fire.
There you go.
They're like, wait, we're actually making money off this thing.
I actually think they actually know what they're doing because they'll release Deep Breath and they'll just have two options, play and settings. And then the next one come out, the 10th year anniversary of Deep Breath. There's play, settings, and additional features. And then there's the 25th anniversary of Deep Breath, play, settings, and then there's like 10 other features and the behind the scenes and the interview with Capaldi and whatnot. So I think the BBC knows what they're doing. If the government run.
Well, look at what they did with Day of the Doctor. I mean, in December you had a release which had the two minisodes and the disc itself. While it does have chapter breaks, you don't have a scene selection menu. I just discovered it on my own when I was trying to find a scene when I first bought the DVD.
Right.
They're finally taking their cue from George Lucas.
There you go.
What he did with Star Wars.
No.
Hey, the Ark in space, you can press a button on your remote control and you'll get CGI effects instead of the original effects.
Oh God, no!
So you can do that. They already do this. They already do the job of the Hutt.
Yeah, no, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need to take the cue from Lucas. We really don't.
They've already taken the cue. Several of the DVDs have extra effects that you could put on instead of the originals.
Well, as long as it's not something like replace this actor with Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, that kind of spoils the end of Return of the Jedi, don't you think? Yeah.
Yes, it does. Now, a lot of us don't have BBC Radio, but they actually had a trailer on BBC Radio that had a new line that I hadn't heard the Doctor say before in any of the other trailers that have been out. He starts off by saying, "I never know where the faces come from. They just pop up." And then he goes on to say, "It's covered in lines, but I didn't do the frowning. Who frowned me this face?" And Capaldi, he did talk about his past appearances in the Whoniverse and saying, it's going to be addressed. And he said that you also have to question who the character was in Pompeii. Perhaps he was not who he said he was.
He was a used car salesman, wasn't he?
Used car.
He was a used car salesman, I thought. Except he was selling
a used chariot.
Yeah.
I got a lot of problems with that. It's like, if you're going to do that, then you need to explain, that Colin Baker's Doctor was Commander Maxwell all along in Ark of Infinity. People can accept the fact that an actor can play different roles. It happens a lot. An actor comes on a series and the producers really like them and they bring them back for a main player later on. Henry Morgan played a crazy general in an early episode of MASH, and then a year later, a year later, they brought him back as Colonel Potter, and no one ever said, "Well, hey, wasn't he that crazy guy?" So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's happened. People are
well, Patrick. I mean, it's happened on Star Trek, where you've had people play like a guy will come in and be Lieutenant so and so, and then another episode he'll come back. He'll be, Commander so-and-so of this,
Spock's father, Sarek, was a Romulan.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, really, we didn't have to
Doctor...
explain that to anybody. Well, actually, they did. They made the Romulans and the Vulcans cousins. So they did actually do it.
No, and in Doctor Who, you've had that more than just the examples that we have here. That we readily pull out, like Karen Gillan, Freema,
and
Colin
they explained
Baker.
The Freema situation. They explained the Freema.
Well, they explained it, but like for example, Karen Gillan has
Lala Ward. They explained that.
But like for example, something they don't explain.
I like Lala Ward, but that regeneration thing was very
Destiny of the Daleks.
Peculiar.
The scene was kind of
something they don't explain. Something they did not explain is I think it's the actress who plays Martha's mother was one of the cat nuns from earlier.
With all the makeup.
Well, yeah. No,
really?
But I mean, yeah.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. So Patrick, you're saying Colonel Potter's a Time Lord? And he could absorb like the wacky colonel and just go like, "Oh, I'm dying, but I could use his body."
Well, you have to explain his appearance on Dragnet as well.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, I'm really going back, aren't I? I'm old.
Hey, Jack Webb. Oh, he's a great guy. The fact that he can pull off Friday. And for so many years, I mean, that show. How long did Dragnet last?
It was a staple in the 50s, and they brought it back in the late 60s, and he was actually working on a new version in the early 80s when he passed away.
Yeah, and then
I know all this stuff, so you don't have to.
Yeah, well, that's good. They brought Dragnet back in the 2000s with Ed
O'Neill
children. Ed O'Neill.
Yeah.
Al Bundy was Joe Friday. That was cool. I like that show. I like the remake. I don't know.
Okay, here's just one last weird tangent I'll share with you guys. It's not Doctor Who related, but Jack Webb was John Landis's first choice for Dean Wormer in Animal House.
I can see that.
Oh, dear God.
I like John Vernon, though. John Vernon is perfect in the role, but I can see Jack Webb doing it.
I could totally say, Greg, what is the worst fraternity on this campus?
There you go. Oh, yeah. No.
One Adam 12.
And if you're joining us, we are a Doctor Who podcast.
Are we a Doctor Who podcast?
If you're following in your own instruction manual at home, yes, we are a Doctor Who podcast.
Oh, okay.
Let's bring you back to speed.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Peter trying to explain Peter Capaldi's previous experiences, I think is a silly and slippery slope, but I think it's pandering to like the dumb fans that are just all, oh, well, what about he was in the Pompeii episode? Now I've heard the scuttlebutt
in the Torchwood show too.
I know. I if I correct me if I'm wrong, I heard some scuttlebutt that I guess Russell T Davies had a plan in his back pocket when he brought him back for Torchwood and said, right. "Oh, I'll do this," without realizing later on that they become the Doctor. But I guess Moffat called up Davies, and Davies said, "Well, this was my original idea," and I guess Moffat has said something to the effect of, "Oh, okay, I can modify that a little bit and go with it." So, I
doesn't need to be done.
Yeah, I think it's a waste of script.
Here's the thing, though, because it's been previously said that the explanation is going to be very low key, but then given what Capaldi says, it almost feels like, does that mean it's not going to be low key then?
I don't know, unless it's going to be the forefront of the only way I could personally accept it is maybe in Capaldi's last episode when he's like almost like he knows he's dying, but before he regenerates, oh wait, there's something I have to do, and then he bounces around in a montage scene, and he basically shows him intersecting himself in these various points, doing the whole White Walker thing again, and that's kind of it. I don't know. It just, again, I think I would rather see adventures than answering dumb questions of continuity.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, the only dumb question of continuity I would want to be answered, and I don't know if you could call it a dumb question, is I would want to see one thing where Peter Capaldi will turn to Clara and just be like, there's a place I have to go, and then it cuts to the general or whatever his name is and his aide from Day of the Doctor, and you get that whole thing of, all 12 of them. No, sir, all 13.
True. I'm cool with.
Maybe that scene from Capaldi's perspective.
that would be worthy of a whole episode. I agree. Of him sort of building up towards it and.
Yeah, or at least like a nice a nice scene where we see again that moment from his point of view.
Something that some crazy fan will do a fan edit and interject that episode along the lines of Day of the Doctor.
I think I would totally geek out if Capaldi regenerates and there's Harry Morgan laying on the ground.
Oh, this won't do.
And he comes out and there's a horse right there waiting for him.
Another thing, too, Pirates of Pompeii is actually one of my favorite Donna episodes because Donna really convinces the Doctor to go against one of the rules that he's real adamant on that he can't do, about saving that particular family and everything else. And I feel like going back on that and saying it was the Doctor all along it kind of takes away from the emotional gravitas of that episode. But again, I'm being persnickety. Anyway, all right, so what else we got?
All right. Okay. So while we've been away for the last 2 weeks, the world tour happened.
Yes, the world tour. That's bigger than the Beatles.
I actually avoided all of the coverage of that because I don't want to have anything spoiled. So I didn't look at the pictures. I didn't read the stories. I didn't look at the videos. So if any of you did, you guys could go ahead and talk about it.
From what I saw, I didn't see any spoilers. They were just basically publicity photos. They were here. They were on, I think, one of the photos has them on top of the Empire State Building and stuff like that, but not really anything spoiler-ish.
Well, the question and answers sessions were originally going to be aired live over YouTube. And after the Korean, the Seoul one, and they were supposed to do a live one from Australia, and they canceled the live feed because they realized they wanted the question and answer to talk about the season and talk about the episode they just saw, and if they put that live, everyone would get spoilers and it would ruin it. So they taped it, and they're going to release them after the Deep Breath comes out, and they did show some questions and answers from them, but they were not related to spoilers. So they were spoilers. I mean, they did, they got to watch the episode. They got to talk about the episode.
Interesting.
Yeah, they came to New York, and you're right. They took pictures on top of the Empire State Building and other places. And, it was a nice little vacation for them, I guess, after working on the series for as many months as they have.
And now they're right back filming the Christmas special.
Yeah, and the Christmas special, I don't know if you were going to talk about this in the news, but, coming back to do the Christmas special, and then, and then the tour is over, and then the next week you read the article in the Mirror. What the heck was that?
Well, the Mirror is reporting that Jenna-Coleman's going to be leaving during the Christmas special.
Should we have a spoiler alert on this?
We should have.
Yeah.
We didn't. We
no,
it's the Mirror. It's the Mirror.
And it's the Mirror. I know.
Take that seriously. It's the Mirror.
However,
anybody who listens to your show has probably heard about it by now.
Yeah, but it's the Mirror, so
now,
you can't take it.
Now, the Nerdist also reported on this, and but they are also taking it from the Mirror. However, they did point out that by the Christmas special, she'll have been in 25 episodes, which is more than Catherine Tate, more than Freema Agyeman, and only a few short of Billie Piper. So she's right in that area of how long a companion has actually stayed during the New Who episodes. So it is possible that she could be leaving, but it does seem like it's very soon, and I think it's just because of the way all the episodes have been split up.
Yeah.
First of all, there's of course, let's look at the source, but I also find the timing to be suspect.
Why would they announce it right before the series begins? Because to me, it's almost like a downer.
Yeah.
It's a downer.
It's kind of like Eccleston saying, I'm not doing the show anymore, right after they premiere The Rose. I mean, what the heck? But that one was true.
It could also be a publicity ploy. I'm just saying.
Yeah, again, I as I said last time on the show, I think the character is a nth degree Mary Sue, and I'm not particularly into her. She continues the fetishization of the companions, where they seem to be the one propelling the plot, and in many cases providing the insight to save the day. And I'm like, look, the show is called Doctor Who, not Plucky Earth Girls in Space, and
Oh God, that almost sounds like something you see at midnight on Cinemax.
yeah, probably
Skinemax, don't you?
Yep.
At
But-
3 a.m.
But again, I as I understand it, I mean, again, the whole point of the Capaldi Doctor is to bring back some of that. It's like shut up, I know what I'm doing. And I don't know. I keep thinking I will say this much. I read the first. Well, we can talk about this later. I did read like the first 12 pages of one of those bootleg scripts.
We will talk about those.
Okay. All right. And definitely, I can say this much. They're definitely setting the pattern where I think Clara's character is just flat out not going to want to stay with this doctor. I think she's going to try to make it work, and they're very much kind of carrying over this thing where she keeps pining for the doctor she knew, and she just can't accept it. So I think they'll part as friends, certainly, but I think it's going to be like a Tegan departure where I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Tegan 2.0?
Yeah, something like that. Now, the curious thing, we talked about a spoiler earlier. None of this is a spoiler. It's a spoiler if they say, yes, her character will be written out of the show because she gets turned into the new female cyber mistress master, and she'll be back as an arch
The
villainess. And blah, blah,
Cyber
blah.
Mistress, Attack of the Cyber Mistress, the Christmas episode of Doctor Who. And while you're waiting to prove me wrong on that, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back with more news here on Mark Who 42's Universe.
Welcome to Dr. Geek's Moment of Science. Here is the lab director and your human host, Dr. Geek.
His passport photo is a hologram. When he drives a car off the lot, it takes off vertically. His Geek Day celebration never actually stops. He once consulted Madame Oracle to warn her. If he were to correct your movie reference, you would have to fight off a strong urge to thank him. He can speak Elvish in Klingon. Superman has a coffee mug with his logo. He has been to the far side of the moon, and it wasn't dark. Everything in his toolbox is sonic and laser. When he travels, it's interdimensionally. He is the most interesting geek in the universe.
I don't always listen to podcasts, but when I do, I listen to Dr. Geek's Laboratory. Stay geeky, my friends.
This moment of science was brought to you by Dr. Geek's Laboratory of Applied Geekdom, a Brazen Wench production, copyright 2014, in association with this network. Join the adventure. Download the full Labcast at www.drgeeklab.com and follow us at facebook.com/drgeeklab and twitter.com/drgeeklab.
Hello, I'm Simon Fisherbecker, known to many of you as Dorian Moldovar from Doctor Who, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
Do you like retro shows? Did you grow up in either the 80s or the 90s? Then tune into Telecast, geekcastradio.com's newest podcast. Join us here on the Telecast as we revisit some of your favorite shows, such as Clarissa Explains It All, Salute Your Shorts, Saved by the Bell, and much, much more, only on geekcastradio.com.
The voice of Christian-basel, take one.
Hi, I'm Christian-basel, and I would like to provide my voice for all your voiceover needs, such as...
Okay, like an announcer.
Like a what?
Like an announcer.
For all your voiceover needs, such as animation, radio, announcements, introductions...
Now an old man.
I can even record voicemail for all the Meshuggahs that call you.
A pirate.
Arr, and it won't cost you a lot of treasure for me services. Arr.
Creepy movie voice.
Just call 407-761-2679. 407-761-2679. Or email voiceofchristianbasel@yahoo.com. Well, how was that?
That's a wrap.
The Pull Bag is the GCRN's place for everything you need in the comic book world. We focus on new and current comics, while also tackling a few back issues here and there. So join the entire GCRN crew and see what issues the hosts have with today's panels. You can find the Pull Bag on iTunes and geekcastradio.com. Make your great escape into comics.
Do you love to read? Do you love Doctor Who? Then go to Marku42 Books at amazon.com/shops/Marku42 for all your Doctor Who reading needs at an affordable price. That's amazon.com/shops/Marku42. Welcome back to Marku42's Whoniverse, Doctor Who Whoniverse, that is. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me are Trish Helm, Christian-basel, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and special guest Patrick Hawkins. And it's time for That Moffat Says. I think William Shatner is going to sue us on this one, but
You think everybody's after us for our cheap podcast here?
You stole a title from my old sitcom.
Well, we'll give you all the
I
profits.
don't
Here's my
appreciate
penny.
that.
that show sucked. I'm sorry, it did. Okay, good. So what did Moffat say this week, Trish?
All right. He says that he has big plans for future online episodes.
Online episodes. All right.
He says they're going to do more prequels and a lot more stuff. And he's talking with the channel that controls the iPlayer and trying to get money from them to do it, basically.
Where's the prequel for this episode coming out on Saturday? Where's that?
It's in the movie theater.
Oh, it's in the movie theater.
You gotta go watch it in the theater to see that. And he says he doesn't want to call them prequels. He doesn't want to call them minisodes. He just wants to call them Doctor Who episodes.
Oh, and the episodes could be any length, he said.
Yeah, he said that they could be 10 minutes or half an hour. Just depends on whatever they need.
The 50-hour Doctor Who episode coming soon to BBC Red Button.
Just like this show.
Like
Could
this
be
show.
10 minutes, could be
short.
5.
This show could be 2. Like last time it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. This show is going to be like, well, it's over. Bye, everyone. So long. No.
Oh, good grief.
No. Don't leave.
Right.
So what else does Moffat? What other does Moffat say?
He says there will not be a 10-year anniversary special for New Who unless he's lying. Unless I'm lying. That's what it says.
Nice.
Oh, well.
Typical Moffat bleep. Yeah.
I swear to God, if you
I'm okay with that. We just had the big pomp of the last anniversary and let it lie down. Unless, of course, now that Capaldi's the reigning Doctor, it puts him at the forefront.
Oh, it would. I would hope.
Because that's the way it's always been with the reunion anniversary episodes. Like, whoever's at the forefront is still the center stage.
But here's the thing. The 5 Doctors, when they were trying to get Tom Baker to be in it, Tom was going to be the main thrust of the show, even though Peter Davison was the current Doctor. And it was when Tom Baker said, I'm not doing it, that they rewrote the script to make Peter the head guy. So, I mean, it wasn't meant to be that way.
Really? Okay.
Really.
I stand corrected.
Now, see,
Tom Baker would have been the one going to Gallifrey to confront Barusa and everyone there. He would have been the driving force of the episode.
I wouldn't mind like a little retrospective episode, not like a full episode, but like a special for the New Who. But as far as an actual episode, I think it would only work if they actually got Chris Eccleston in it.
Yeah, I agree.
If they got him, then do it. But if not,
that's not going to happen.
If not, it's just going to be like the 50th all over again.
Well, actually, what I would do, I mean, well, first of all, I have to agree. It would be great if they could get Eccleston back. Now, I'm also willing to say, well, there's stuff going on behind the scenes with that. I don't know what it is. Right now, I don't want to know. But I think if you can't get Eccleston back, then at least try for something like, okay, we already had Tennant and Smith come back for the 50th. I don't know. I think it's a little too soon to be having them come back again, especially Smith because he just left. It would be sort of pouring salt on the wound, so to speak, if you have him back this soon. And it would also kind of be unfair to Capaldi because it would just be like, oh, it just wouldn't be fair to him. What I would do maybe as a consolation prize is get Paul McGann back. Yeah, he's more classic series than current, but I think he's close enough that it could work. Another possibility is get
and he's ready. He's ready for it. He's totally into it, and he looks great.
Yeah. The other thing, I think another thing. While this is more the 10th anniversary of the new show, maybe try to get David Bradley to reprise the first Doctor, or maybe get Mark Gatiss to be the third, or find someone to play the second, and you turn the 10th anniversary special into this sort of proper tribute of the classic,
maybe
telling the current
50th anniversary.
Congratulations.
You know what? The 50th anniversary special should have been saved for the 10th anniversary, and the 50th should have had classic Doctors because it was the 50th. It was everything.
And
they got it backwards.
And I think what I would do is, okay, the 50th we did have the whole pomp. We had the huge, simulcast, feature length episode. With this one, I don't think you need to go that huge. You could have one episode standard length, but the whole idea is the whole kind of idea behind it is to celebrate 10 years. And you find and then
with the BBC made a lot of money off of putting the 50th in the movie theater.
Yeah, they did.
And that's why they're putting Deep Breath in the theater, because they're banking on the same thing. And there's a lot of people, especially where I live in Reno, that they don't have BBC America because they don't want to pay extra for it. So when I went and saw it in the theater, even though I'd already seen it, there was a lot of people there that hadn't seen it because they didn't have BBC America. So I think, as long as people keep paying the movie theater price to go see it, they're going to keep putting it in the theater anytime they feel that there's something worth putting in there.
Yeah.
Well, despite my problems with the Day of the Doctor storyline and everything else, I will say this, but Smith and Tennant, I could watch those guys just read the phone book back and forth. Their chemistry was absolutely electric, and that's a term I don't use very often, and they looked like they were having the time of their lives. But you know what? Combine the two stories. If you're going to do a 10th anniversary, then go back to the previous one about doing a little more of the mini-sodes and stuff. Because there's a lot of things that, we talked about how we finally got Paul McGann's regeneration sequence. Well, let's get Colin Baker and let's do a proper regeneration sequence for him. Let's do a 1-hour adventure with Colin Baker. It's basically saying, he was already dying at that point when he was at the console as it is. Let's do his final adventure.
Bumping your head on the console doesn't a regeneration make, does it?
No.
No. That would mean we get Bonnie Langford back.
No.
Maybe I spoke too soon.
No.
Maybe I spoke too soon.
Colin Baker just heave over and then just hit his head on the console, and all you hear is, oh, bleep, and he falls down. That is
Oh, right. Moffat had one more bleeping thing that he said. And he said that the Master will not be back because he says that story is done. But however, we are reminded that Moffat does lie.
Every time he adds, but I lie, or I sometimes, to me that sounds like, okay, he's lying.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's,
Well, what he's doing
so I'm lying.
What he's doing is he's saying, yeah, it's not, I'm probably not going to do it, but here's an out just in case.
Yeah.
I changed my mind later.
I swear, the way Moffat says these things, you could probably have him sit down with an interrogator from Gitmo, and he'd frustrate the interrogator.
That's because they would spend most of the time trying to get the truth about his hair.
What's going on with your sideburns, pal?
What's with that hair? What's with that Brillo pad you got in your head there? That's a wig, isn't it? No.
I'm just picturing Moffat getting waterboarded, and they're like, "Tell us the truth about your plans for season 9." And he'll say something, and he'll go, "But I could be lying." And they're like, "Come on!
Stop pouring water on me. My hair will rust."
Brillo pad.
Oh God.
I don't know. Wasn't there was a big hoobaloo about somebody said, "Oh yeah, I know who the next Master is, and he's going to be brilliant." Was it
Charles
Dance? That's right. Yeah, that's
Bannister. I still want to find out who started that rumor.
Charles Dance started it.
Charles Dance probably started it. I need work. I need work this weekend.
Oh.
I freely admit I would love to see Capaldi go up against a a new master. I think it would be nice to see them chew the scenery up against each other, but we'd have to see. I'd almost want it to be almost the opposite. Make this new master extremely quiet and thoughtful if Capaldi's really going to be the snarler that we've been promised.
I think what they should do is in the next 5 Doctor-ish, they should actually have all the classic Doctors on the phone trying to call Christopher Eccleston, and then they cut to a scene where Christopher Eccleston is pushing a boat with a punt, and there's Romana sitting there in the boat, and he just keeps pushing it, and then that big triangle just comes and zaps him away. I think that would be classic. I'd pay money for that.
Oh.
You know, I'm getting hungry. I wish I was in Beacon, New York right now.
Oh, Lord.
I wish I was in Beacon, New York right now, because I'd go to the Pandora.
Segue.
I'd go to Pandora and get some food, wouldn't you? I mean, who wouldn't want to eat fish fingers and custard? Except that it would be French toast sticks. So that's kind of a shame. But other than that, this have you heard of this restaurant, Patrick? There's a new Doctor Who themed restaurant.
Yeah, I did catch wind of that. I think courtesy of you guys.
Well, thank you.
But really, it just I saw they got like the Van Gogh picture, the blowing up TARDIS, and all that. I'll say one thing: it looks like they're going for a more casual. Okay, if you're a Doctor Who fan, you'll appreciate this place. But we're not rubbing it in your face to drive away the casuals. And I give them definite props for that. Unless, of course, I'm just seeing like the best pictures possible from the best possible angles.
I mean, I'm looking at the picture of the inside of the restaurant right now. And, you know, it's interesting. The brick wall on one side of the room reminds me of the interior of the TARDIS in Invasion of Time.
Do they actually show pictures
like a warehouse?
Well, it was a mental institution, but that's besides the point.
Was it?
They filmed in a mental hospital. Yeah, that's where Invasion of Time was filmed.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Now, has anybody taken a look at the menu?
I have. I would totally eat the Madame de Pompadour sponge cake. I think that
I bet you
sounds
would.
delicious. Finish that off with the big. But I'd start.
I'll take it off, guys. You don't need me.
I would have the Big Bang too.
I bet you.
Oh, this is just really going downhill right now.
No. The Big Bang is two bangers, two sausages flamed with Stroh's rum.
This
I
conversation
don't know where
is
you're
just
going
gone
with
right downhill.
I don't know where they're going with this.
Mark,
I let
stop.
you eat.
Pull up.
You can have the cake.
Patrick, you want to insert a sonic screwdriver joke, and then we're just, we've got this thing covered already.
See, you know what? And you know what? I got to be honest. I was just about to make a joke about Joe Grant cheesecake, but you know what?
That would be fun.
You know what? I'm sorry, but there's no need to do it now.
I would eat a Joe Grant cheesecake from the crusty side first. I work my way. I'd flip it over.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, the views and opinions of this show are not necessarily those of Micro 42, and you know what? Forget it. They are. They totally are. Right?
Oh, Lord.
What about some confused tourists that just keyword? No, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. It's too much for you guys.
Stop. Okay.
So we have a new nerd destination in New York, which is actually pretty cool.
It's a couple of hours outside of the city.
Oh, is it? Oh, the hell with that.
It's not in the city.
I know. When I heard that, I'm like,
it's upstate New York.
That's okay. Nothing is in the city anymore. Nobody can afford it. All the cool stuff in Manhattan is getting completely priced out. It's getting all gentrified and corporatized, and it's all Starbucks. There's 7-Elevens in Manhattan now.
Are there really?
Yes.
Did they have the big gulps that they were trying to outlaw?
Yes.
Oh, they have the big.
Yeah, they have the big open access one. So if nobody's looking, some bum can go on in and fill up his container and dash on out. And I don't think they care or mind.
Okay.
I just want to get a good lick of Claire souffle.
Oh, I'd like to nibble on Pepper Gilliam Brown's cakes.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Oh. Two things right there.
And by cakes, I mean.
What?
Hey, no, family show.
No. We're getting that out. That's out.
I'm sorry, I had to. You can bleep it out. My bad.
Okay.
Bad Patrick.
Well, now the episode is now bleep that Patrick says, so.
Okay. Remember, I'm supposed to be the crazy guy. So.
You are. No, that's Christian. I thought.
But wait. How about for an appetizer? Mel's screaming hot buffalo wings.
It had our Mel's carrot juice.
Mel's carrot juice.
Carrot juice.
Nobody.
Well, I mean, the doctor was a vegetarian until he had steak in Boomtown.
Should put Perry's regenerated double-breasted chicken.
There you go. You got the joke. The lady got the joke. The lady called the joke. She got the Perry joke out there. You can do that.
With this. Whoa.
Would all the chefs be dressed up as Shockeye? Really?
Yes, Shockeye. The Androgum.
Androgum's all in the kitchen.
Oh, Lord.
Please. I try to block out as much of the two doctors as I can.
Hey, that brings us back to Blake 7, doesn't it, with Chastain?
Yep, the show's over before we even enter.
I told you it was
We are
over.
at the end of this run.
I said the show was over 10 minutes ago, and you didn't believe me. You're not listening to the show.
Oh, now it's over. It's canned.
It ended 10 minutes ago.
We lost it once we started going innuendo with food items at a Doctor Who restaurant. That's when we lost it.
But I think it's very cool that there's a Doctor Who restaurant. I know there's that bar in the city, in New York City, that the bathrooms are supposed to be like the TARDIS. Now there's a complete restaurant, so that's cool. I think more people should open up Doctor Who themed restaurants. We've gone this news segment for a long time. Are there any other news stories, Trish?
Nope.
So we're done with the news?
We're done with the news.
Oh.
I don't think we could end it any better than we have.
Well, let me throw this one thing out, because I read this today on one of the other sites. I don't know if it's canonical or confirms, but did I read correctly that Capaldi has, or there's rumors that Capaldi has officially signed for a second season?
I saw that. I think I saw it 2 days ago that it says he definitely signed for Series 9. I would hope so. I hope he's not. Eccleston only did 1 year because of the reasons that only he knows and the BBC knows.
Yeah.
But I would think that Capaldi, being the big Doctor Who fan he is not going to stop with just one season. So I'm sure he signed the contract.
Well, I read some scuttlebutt that the schedule was kind of getting to him, and I had also read that, again, it was one of Moffat's master plans to have Capaldi be a more of an old school Doctor to kind of placate the older fans like us, and then after a year, then bring in another more youthful one that will kind of, just as the Tumblr girls are filtering away, pulls them back in. Obviously that wouldn't be the case, but I thought that sounded plausible enough. But I'm glad though if he's going to stick around for at least one more season. I'm kind of curious though. That's a season by season contract. Usually these sort of things would be at least a minimum of 3 to 4.
Yeah, you would think.
I suspect that any rumors that he may be a one-season wonder may be Capaldi enjoying things so much he's decided to take a page from the Moffat playbook and start playing mind games.
I wouldn't doubt it. He certainly seems impish enough.
A lot of rumors out there, and some of the stuff Moffat hasn't even put out. He's just sitting there watching the field play.
Look at all these rumors surrounding me every day. I just need some time to get away from all these rumors. I can't take it no more. My best friend said there's one I never meet, the girl next door.
And he is the first Doctor Who that has an Academy Award on his mantle.
There you go.
All right, Patrick, now that we got the news out of the way, we had you on the show because we want to know Geeks of Comedy. You know, you're a member of Geeks of Comedy, and you're going to be doing a segment for us in the coming weeks called The Geek Moment or something.
Yeah, what I'll just be doing is I'll be doing a recorded segment for you guys, and I'll just kind of just rant around for a couple minutes, and just whatever's on my mind, Doctor Who related. A lot of it will probably be quite reactive to the new episodes. Might even be my old take. I might be doing an old man grumpy Doctor Who take. Ah, you kids, the monsters made of paper mache. No, those were real monsters there. You know, the Menoptera, that was a good costume when you consider its time, you know. Going on from there. Yeah, like I said, you guys have graciously invited me to do so, and I'll be playing it on up, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that. I've got some rambling ideas in my brain, so yeah, I'll be your jester as it is on the show here.
All right, well, I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Oh, you told me this wasn't gonna be a setup.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. I want you to give us a little rant on what you think is coming up for Series 8.
Let me grab some popcorn.
We're gonna sit back and let Patrick do his thing.
All right, fair warning. I'm gonna have to go into a little bit of a tidbit of spoilers.
Okay, so we will hit the spoiler alert. We'll hit the spoiler alert for the geek moment. Here we go.
Ow!
It's loud.
Who put this thing next to me?
I'm sorry, Christian.
Why is this right here?
I didn't hear anything.
It's because it's in my house. How did you get it over here?
My TARDIS. Okay, I'll shut it off. I'll shut it off.
See, Christian,
okay,
this is why I put on my my iPod headphones and I listen to Redbone.
Double locking the doors.
So Patrick,
you do. There's sponsors for you.
The stage is yours, Patrick.
All right, well, let's talk about this then. It is the gorilla in the room. I'm sure you guys have talked about it a little bit previously, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it proper. The leakage of the upcoming scripts. Okay, I downloaded them. I read about the first 12 pages of the first episode, and then I stopped. Because one, because I was kind of enjoying it, and two, when you read a script for something, and I know this from my experience in the 90s, I had a contact out in LA, used to send me pirated scripts all the times, early drafts, and usually earlier drafts were actually better than the final product. And I'm going to tell everybody this. If you haven't read them by now and if you're tempted to, just don't, okay? Just don't, because your own headcanon, when you read them, you envision them, and you imagine it the best way possible. And when you see it on the screen, it just doesn't work. It's worse than when you read a book. A book you can translate and you could think, oh, okay, well, it's different in the book, but you can understand why. You know, it's like anybody with half a cantaloupe for a frickin' brain would understand why they left Tom Benadryl out of the Lord of the Rings movies or whatever his frickin' name was. I don't know. It's again, I never read Lord of the Rings precisely because I knew someday somebody would invest a lot of money and make a film movie out of it, and I didn't want to be the guy saying, oh, the book was better than everything else. Yeah, kind of like the way I laughed in Glee because I've always hated Anne Rice and her stupid cabal, and when they lost their minds when Tom Cruise was cast as Lestat, and everybody was like, you gonna go see Interview with the Vampire? No, I read the book, I didn't like it. Yeah, but this is the movie. Yeah, but I read the book, I didn't like it. Yeah, but this is the movie. They can't make that freaking connection. So when Tom Cruise was announced, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna eat popcorn, and I'm gonna just piss off as many of the Anne Rice fans as I can. It's like, oh yeah, he's awesome, he was really great. Well, it turned out he was really great from what I heard. So anyway, but I ramble on a little bit. But I'm just gonna warn everybody, just don't read them. Read them afterwards, because there might be some snippets and trinkets and some bits in there. But if you read it, you're gonna be screwed. And this isn't spoilers, this is ruination. Because it's just not going to be as good as you envision it, unless, of course, you got the imagination of a 4-year-old or something to that effect. But I do think that definitely we've set the stage for an angry Capaldi, an older Capaldi. I get the impression that his sensibilities have truly rebooted too with this new life cycle, and he's going to be asking Clara a lot of questions, and I think she's going to be lovingly giving him the answers, and I don't think he's going to like him. He's like, nah, I'm not doing that. And again, like I said about earlier, I think when Clara makes her exit, and don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out, honey. I think it's going to be a little bit of a heartbreaking for her, and I think he's going to be like, all right, well, business as usual, let's move on. I'm extremely intrigued at the notion of a new character who meets Capaldi's doctor, who doesn't know him from his previous incarnations, and then they really get into some serious trouble. I would really like to see Captain Jack come back and meet this doctor too. I think that'll be a really interesting, if anything, just because I think Jack would kind of look him over and be like, all right, yeah, I can still shag this.
God.
Because there's going to be a moment he's going to look him over, he's going to be not for sure, and then he's going to be all like, it's a little rough, but that's okay.
Oh, God.
He almost had it out with a blue cockroach, or blue cricket, or whatever that thing was.
Whatever it was.
Oh yeah, Captain Jack, anytime, anywhere. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this new Doctor. I think they are kind of stack the deck, and but there's a line that he says to her where basically he's talking to like all the girls that have looked upon the Doctor as a romantic object, and he kind of shuts her down. And I'm going to go ahead and just do this one little spoiler line because it's not really directed to the plot as it is. But early on, Clara is freaking out to other characters guest starring in the episode, and she actually says, "How do we fix him? How do we change him back?" And I think that line just kind of encapsulates all of Who fandom as it exists right now. But I don't think they're trying to just shut them down or shut them out either. I do think that it's going to be like, look, this is the change, and this is going to happen, and we're going to hold your hand and carry you through it, but we promise you, just stick around, and it's going to be interesting, I promise. And I think that's what this episode is. This is a promise. I think Capaldi is going to be their attempt to unify Doctor Who fandom, because let's face it, we've had this schism between the old fart fans like ourselves and the newer generation of fans, and I think we're going to get us all back on track, which is good, because I do prefer us to be a happy family. However, as a comedian, the fractiousness, however, is grist for my mill.
Well, thank you very much, Patrick. We really appreciate you.
No snogging in the TARDIS.
No snogging on the TARDIS.
So Patrick's singing, "Of all the girls I've loved before, but if you're Clara, you're out the door." I did it my way.
Normally at that, I would say that's thank you for listening. But you know what? Before we go,
Clara, I am not your boyfriend. That's a line.
Yeah, okay.
Really?
That's a line from.
Oh, it is?
Oh,
Oh, there's
in the first
spoiler
12
alert there.
pages. So that's a couple of. Oh, it's right at the beginning. Okay. I when I set up this episode, I asked, and well, I don't know if I asked, but Trish, what are you looking forward to Series 8? Do you have anything to say?
No, I just wanted to get here already. I feel like we've been waiting forever. And, I've been trying to avoid as much, spoilers stuff as I can.
Right.
But even with this episode, I'm still fine. But so I just wanted to get here because I just want to see what's going to happen. I want to see how Peter Capaldi is going to be as the Doctor. I think he's going to be great, and I just can't wait to see how the character develops. And I'm interested in seeing, some actual adventure stories and not having to worry about, this whole romantic stuff between Doctor and Clara, because I'm so happy that's gonna be over. Let's get back to the adventures.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I'm actually looking forward to having an older Doctor. I'm looking forward to the whole flirtatious. I'm looking forward to that just disappearing. And just the more I read about it, the more it looks like it's gonna be it's gonna be out the door, and I'm glad because honestly I think that we don't need moonlighting. We don't need a will they or won't they. Let's focus on adventures. Let's focus on the Doctor and his companion.
Bruce Willis as the Doctor. I can almost
never.
say that.
Stop.
Never, ever, never.
And
Willis would have made a great war Doctor.
yeah, he would have.
Oh yeah, he would.
Well, here's what I think. I'm not sure if I shared this with you last time. I really thought that it would have been brilliant to have actually cast an American as the War Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been great because it would have been that sly sort of, all right, everybody's afraid that the Americanization of Doctor Who would lead to an American Doctor, which even American fans really don't want. And I think, too, that having an American action star play the War Doctor would have given it a great context of truly the War Doctor was not the Doctor. And not to take away anything from Hurt's performance, but I think that would have been a great sly comment.
An interesting idea. I think I like it.
Patrick, did you see a little while ago there was an article online that postulated what if Doctor Who was done with American actors, and they put American based actors in the different Doctor roles. They actually had for the War Doctor, they actually picked Harrison Ford.
I think I saw that one. That was the very poppy Hollywood one, right? with psycho. Now, did you guys read the one from a couple of years ago that had more obscure American actors? It was
that one where Nicolas Cage was the Ninth Doctor or something.
No. This was even richer. This was whoever wrote this. I thought was incredibly insightful because not only did he pick American actors, but he thought American actors that made sense contextually at the time. So the first Doctor was played by Buster Crabbe.
Oh wow!
Whoa.
Yeah, the first Doctor was Buster Crabbe, and the second Doctor was it was the center square himself. Oh, hi, Doctor. Paul Lynde. And you read the article, dig the article, find it up, and read it up. It's great because whoever wrote it too actually did a really good job of talking about the casting, and again made a great parallels to the casting issues of the time with the British version. Yeah, Paul Lynde is the second Doctor.
Oh, wow.
Robert Stack is the third Doctor. Robert Stack is the third Doctor, being, trapped on Earth and going up against his version of the Master was actually called the Commander. And get this, it was played by the guy who played the Sarge on Gomer Pyle. Which again, when at first you go, what? But when they really think about it, it's like, that actually kind of works. The fourth Doctor, played by Alan Alda.
Oh no, and that wouldn't have lasted. Well, I guess it would have lasted.
No, it wouldn't work because Colonel Potter is the Time Lord. Remember?
That's true. That's
you
true.
got the wrong guy.
The fifth Doctor, played by was the actor who was he was on General Hospital for a long time. He was famous because he played Patch. The sixth.
Oh! God, you're throwing me back in a times corridor here. Who played Patch? Oh, someone write in us at mark@mark42.net. Help us out here.
Okay, given that my mom was a huge fan of General Hospital, I think I know the guy you're talking about. I'm blacking out.
Yeah, I've forgotten his name too, but
I used to watch General Hospital when Patch was on. I can't remember.
The sixth Doctor was played by the actor who, get this, Ken Osmond. Do you remember him?
Oh, no.
Ken
really?
Osmond played Eddie Haskell on Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah. That would be interesting, actually. That could work.
Yeah,
Ken Osmond back then or Ken Osmond now?
Ken Osmond back then, actually. It talks about like how, he was a cop at the time, and the then producers decided after he get pulled over by a ticket, he's like, you know what? I think you'd be great to fill in this role for the Doctor Who.
Yeah. And now that you've brought up Ken Osmond, I know exactly how the end credits, how your listing in the end credits is going to go, Patrick.
Oh,
Lord. Oh, God.
On a side note, I thought this was funny because you bring up Eddie Haskell and from Leave It to Beaver. If anybody does their 8th Doctor history of the TV movie, I think it was the sound engineer or the sound audio is Tony Dow.
Yes.
The Tony Dow.
Yeah.
From Leave It to Beaver.
Played Beaver Cleaver's brother.
Yeah. He plays Beaver's brother, and he was sound engineer for the TV movie. I just thought that was a funny relation right there.
And again, the guy who wrote this, whoever did that was brilliant because, again, the parallels they have to the British Doctors. Here, let me read a clip of it. I got it right here. Okay, this is about 6th Doctor Ken Osmond. Osmond is often thought of as the worst of the 11 Doctors for his smarmy personality and ridiculous costume. An injury from his police days impaired him physically, and he was short and temperamental. Typecasting, he thought, he was escaping his once famous role still followed him. And Bob Young, perhaps cruelly, encouraged the writers to make snide in-script joke references to Eddie Haskell for cheap laughs. Initially, Osmond was very bitter over his time as the Doctor, but his anger softened when he began receiving hundreds of fan letters and annual holiday showings of the Doctor and Mrs. Claus, which made the episode a modern Christmas classic. He staged a one-man show about his Doctor Who tenure in 2006 that turned into a major off-Broadway hit. A recording of it released as a bonus disc with this Christmas special Blu-ray. I mean, whoever did this really
went into it.
Really went into it. Yeah, the 7th Doctor, they finally brought in a big gun as Steve Martin. Though initially slapstick was a regular part of his betrayal, he dropped it quickly to become a Machiavellian figure who only used humor as a mask. With a dry wit and willingness to manipulate others, he was both well-liked and slightly terrifying. Yeah. He formed an incredible partnership with Ali Sheedy, his young companion Ace.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
I could see that.
If Steve Martin could do it, I would think that, and I know he's just recently passed on a lot of talk, I think Robin Williams could have fit it too. Especially seeing his acting as well. And when he went from comedy to straight up acting, and now he can combine the both, he could have pulled it off too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, you ready for the one shot?
Go for the one shot.
For the one shot, 8th Doctor, Mark Hamill, 1996. Fox convinced Mark Hamill's Star Wars fame to return to sci-fi leading man status. Though initially poorly received, Hamill's more romantic and dashing Doctor has gained a following in the later years. Blame is laid at Fox's ham-fisted treatment of Doctor Who rather than the man who played the Time Lord. Particular scorn was given to the casting of Englishman Tim Curry as the commander, using a role that was traditionally a dig at the American industrial military complex into a blatant Galactic Empire gag. Hamill will continue playing the Doctor as a voice actor in the Emmy Award-winning animated series.
Did the Joker guest star in that?
I don't know. And then things get really interesting. The Ninth Doctor for the revamped 2005 would be Robert Downey Jr.
I could not see that.
Not see that?
Remember, too, this is pre-Iron Man. After this, because they cast Robert Downey Jr., who was slowly working towards a comeback after severe drug problems that stalled his career. The show absolutely exploded. Paired with singer-turned-actress Mandy Moore as Rose Tyler, the Ninth Doctor and his companion instantly reignited the series into bigger than before. Robert Downey Jr. is a deeply hurt and disturbed survivor of the Time Lord, resounded with the post-9/11 American audiences.
There you go.
All right, 10th Doctor, John Hamm.
No! Oh, yes! Randy would love that. Yes! Randy would have loved that. John, that's perfect.
Yes!
Does he smoke and drink and do the other thing?
Hamm got a very debonair figure, losing the leather jacket casualness of Downey for a series of sharp suits. He was known to go on long physical diatribes that made for great television while maintaining a loving relationship with Moore's Rose and her successors. He was known as being extremely cruel and dangerous to his enemies. He even managed to knock out Alan Alda for the top spot as the fan favorite in many polls. And then it ends with the 11th Doctor, and I'm very surprised he hasn't included it. But 11th Doctor he has is Michael Pitt, who is known mostly for Hedwig and the Angry Itch. Yeah, even I looked him up.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I guess I could see that.
Boardwalk Empire?
I think he is.
Yes.
Yeah,
he was Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
And
Pitt decided to play. Pitt decided to play the Doctor with much of the comedic style favored by his favorite Doctor, Paul Lynde.
Oh God.
And featuring 12th Doctor, Harry Morgan. There you go.
Okay.
Everything comes back to it.
I will gladly send this blog to you guys, and you can look over.
Oh yeah, we'd love to. We'd love to post it on our. Well, I don't know if we can post it. It's probably someone else's stuff. But yeah, we'd love to read it. Christian, what do you look forward to in Series 8?
Oh my goodness. I'm just looking forward to Series 8. I'm still on the comment that Trish had when we were talking about the news about, that Moffat could be lying about the 23rd. And I'm just thinking there's the BBC as a woman on the stirrups going, and then Stephen Moffat's the Doctor going, we're not ready. Got to put it back in. Let it cook there for a little bit longer. No, it's not ready. Yeah. So I think I'm just with everybody else.
I have an idea. I mean, if the 23rd comes and it does not go on the air, I say we break the moratorium on that work print. I say we
just release all spoilers that we think are spoilers.
Deep Breath on the 23rd, but don't watch the work prints. They just released. Someone just put up episode 2 and 3 from the work prints. Remember, they were the first 6 were supposedly on that server, but they were saying, they only took the first one. Well, obviously they took more than just the first one, because Into the Dalek and the third one were released as work prints on the torrent sites. Again, staying away from that. I am not going near it. But it's just ridiculous.
Do you think they really got leaked, or this could have been a protracted stunt? Because like Time Warner.
Well, Rose was released via torrent from some guy in Canada with the CBC before the 2005 series started too. Yeah. That was released. That came out a couple weeks early, and the BBC had to go, please don't give spoilers. And that's kind of what happened here.
Yeah, I think so. Because I'm curious, because I definitely think Time Warner is full of crap. I think they deliberately leaked the Flash pilot and the Constantine pilot to the torrent sites just to get the buzz going on. And I find it very curious that after the Constantine pilot got released and the feedback were coming in, that they immediately announced that they're recasting and they're getting rid of his female companion character. She'll be gone by episode 2 and replaced by a different actress and a different character.
Oh. Yeah, that was definitely done on purpose.
Well, finishing what I'm projecting, I'm hoping it comes out on the 23rd, because that'd be a nice present to me. I'm not going to say why, but Yeah, that would be a very nice present to me, and I won't say why. But I think I just want to see it. I think I'm with everybody else. We're tired of the rumors, the half truths and the untruths. Somebody came up and mentioned to me, and it says, "What do you think if you know how Moffat doesn't have to even do anything to promote, half truths or rumors or things like that. And we've got a lot of rumors going about there. But somebody mentioned that what if Moffat's doing it? What if he's leaking stuff? Mm-hmm. Because always, bad news is always good news for people who are trying to promote stuff. And, that we've got leaks. Jenna-Coleman's leaving. We signed Capaldi for another year. I mean, all that news attracts people to want to come closer and closer. So I'm not saying he did it. I just saying that it is in the cards. And a lot of TV shows do that to promote negative and positive things about a TV show to try to generate interest. So I wouldn't put it past me, but I'm not saying that Moffat said, I've never met him, so I doubt he would do that. I really legitimately doubt he seems to be a good businessman. He's taken the show internationally. I mean, the world tour and all of this. Am I the only one that noticed that every commercial that they do for the world tour, when Capaldi comes out and says a different city, it's almost like deadpan? Like he goes, the world tour is coming to Seoul. The world tour is coming to New York. And it's just the same one. They just cut him out and put another city in there that he just mentions. But
yeah,
that's just me. It's just like, aren't you a bit excited there, Peter? Yeah. You're just a little excited that you're the first Doctor to go on a world tour. And going back to what you said, Patrick.
Does Peter Capaldi ask himself for his own autograph since he's a big fan?
Probably.
Talk about a time paradox conundrum.
And writes it, F you, Peter Capaldi. Because he's got the thick of it going there. One of the things that somebody mentioned to me, which the more I think about it, is Capaldi, because he is the first Doctor of a new set of regenerations, kind of going back to what William Hartnell was doing, the old raspy, kind of snarly guy who doesn't get along with anybody. You came in my TARDIS, I didn't invite you, kind of deal. Is he kind of mirroring that because he's the first Doctor of the new set of regenerations? He's kind of following that same pattern.
I think it could be a similar pattern that they could be going with, and so that would mean that when Capaldi leaves, they're going to get another hobo-like character or something.
Well, I don't think they're.
I don't think it was intentional.
I don't think it's a pattern or a template. I just think that they decided, let's bring back, because again, at first when we saw him visually, everybody was screaming "Pertwee, Pertwee," and not without good reason. I think it would be easy to set up the parallels of, he's got, the dress of this and this character. I think it's going to be a bunch of his own, but I think he's definitely I think they really just want to bring back the irascibility, which all the Doctors pretty much exhibited to a certain levels. Yeah. I mean, Tom Baker, like snapped at Sarah several times, so I'll bite your nose off or whatever,
Colin took it to a fine art.
Yeah, he certainly did. Davidson really didn't do it. He would just try to explain. So, I can't. Okay, Well,
I think Colin was strangling Nicola because she upstaged the regeneration sequence.
Twice.
Yeah. Oh, poor Nicola. When are they going to get her to Florida? I'd like to pose a picture with her.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
She has aged well. I mean, she is gorgeous now, as well as she was gorgeous then.
You know what? I have not seen a single former companion that I could say, oh well, no, she's not looking good. Yeah, I think they've all done very well for themselves. Very lovely ladies all together.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this week. I'd like to thank Patrick once again for coming on our show, Geeks of Comedy. You can go to his Facebook page, Geeks of Comedy. And when's the next show?
I've got several things burbling, nothing confirmed as of yet. We're 90% locked down, of course, for Spooky Empire, the horror convention in Orlando. I'm very excited about that because we had a great showing at Spooky Empire's Mayhem, and dabbling into the world of horror comedy and again stand-up comedy for the horror crowd, which enabled me to go in some fun directions, which I had not at that point. And we did some fun improv with it too. So got some other stuff that I'm chiseling away. And when I get them, when those things go solid, I'll be more than happy to share them with your audience on my weekly rants.
Excellent. Check Mark Who 42's Hooniverse out on our Facebook page. Tweet us at MarkWho42. Go to our website, markwho42.net. We post our podcast there. We have Doctor Who news, Doctor Who reviews of Big Finish audios, and other interesting tidbits from the Doctor Who Hooniverse on our site. Go to Geekcast Radio Network, Florida Geek Scene. Check out those sites, and you can find our podcast there as well. We're on iTunes, and you probably know that already. If you don't, why don't you go to iTunes and download our previous shows and take a listen? They are great. We are the best damn Doctor Who podcast in the Hooniverse. Isn't that right, guys?
You can certainly, absolutely, and don't forget, you can certainly download my previous appearance as part of the fine collection of episodes.
Hey, you always do well on our show, Patrick. So, any last words, guys?
I think I'm gonna watch Capaldi in the comfort of my own home. Well, actually, I'm gonna record it that way I can speed through all the commercials.
There you go.
If the simulcasts were commercial free, I might be tempted to go see them.
Trish and I watch it together.
Trish and you're gonna watch it together. Isn't that sickly lovely, sweet?
Thing,
it's so
love
wonderful.
Each other watching Doctor Who.
Remember, I will be at the Weekend TARDIS event, the viewing party, on Saturday at 7 p.m. at Ye Old Falcon Pub in Davie, Florida. Stop by and have a sonic screwdriver.
Except if you're underage.
If you're underage, we will not serve sonic screwdrivers to you, but you can have fish and chips, shepherd's pie.
The idea of a Doctor Who event going on in Davie, Florida blows my mind. Bang. Boy, you sure got a pretty sonic screwdriver.
How do we go to Deliverance in this episode?
We're in Davie. No, I did not do that. I did not. Oh, my God. I can't.
And if you happen to be in Central Florida, Hurricane Who on the night of at the Metro West Poorhouse. So come and see me there.
At the Metro West what?
I may join you.
What?
That, actually.
The Poorhouse.
I thought I had the sick mind. Here comes Ed. Poorhouse.
Dude, I had Catholic school. Okay, I went to Catholic school, so there's a lot of stuff that they tried to drill out of me.
Poorhouse, where I'll be having Madame Pompadour's sponge cake. Dabbling
Come
on it.
back to our show next week. Next week we will have the first of our Series 8 review shows. We will be reviewing Deep Breath. So be here next week for the Hooniverse, Mark Who 42's Hooniverse. So long, everyone. Mark Who 42's Hooniverse has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Patricia-Helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, Christian-basel, and Patrick Hawkins as the Beaver.
These are always the hardest to forget.
This show was edited, produced, and directed by Mark Baumgarten.
These are the people I haven't even met.
Please visit markwho42.net and register to join and be a part of the Hooniverse Army. We can also be heard on iTunes, the Stitcher Radio app, Podkicker, geekcastradio.com, FloridaGeekscene.com, and many other places around the net. Tweet us at markwho42 and check out our Facebook page, Mark Who 42's Hooniverse. We can be contacted by email at mark@markwho42.net with the subject line question mark. If you have worked on Doctor Who or are working on a project related to Doctor Who, please email our Media Relations Director, Christian-basel, at markwho42media@yahoo.com. Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. This podcast is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten, 2014.